Namaste everyone, how's it going? I wanted to share a very simple way to become incredibly powerful. And when I thought about talking on this, what came to my mind was all the different cultures which are there in the world. And if you look at our ancient scriptures, everywhere there's a presence of gods, you know, and every god is unique because they have a particular unique power. And while I was thinking about speaking on this, it just came to my mind that all of these gods had a power which nobody else had. That is why it was unique, and that is why it was theirs, and that is what made them a god. Now, we as human beings going through our regular human experience forget that we also have incredible amounts of power, and that's what I want to talk on, that how do we end up losing our power, and what is the way that we can actually conserve our power so that when we actually need to use it, like these gods used it in very iconic situations, whether a war, whether a life changing incident, event, something like that, and they changed the path of destiny, whether it was for others or for the story, how it was unfolding or whatever. So, all of this could be applied to us also. But when the time comes, either we don't have that power within us in enough reserves, or we have no touch with it, that we have no idea about how to use it. So, all these ancient gods had their own different powers. Somebody had the power to strike lightning, somebody had the power to, fly, etc. But they kept it to themselves. Nobody else had it, you know. And they didn't use it just like that. They didn't use it to just fly from Mumbai to Delhi, or they didn't use it to, just strike lightning to like start a fire to cook some food. No, they were very conscious about how they used it. So let's come to how to gain that kind of consciousness as well as how to gain awareness of what our power is. Now, what happened is that 2019 onwards, everyone's life changed. Like we think it's 2020, but in my opinion, I think the process started in 2019. And a lot of people, in order to deal with that time, made their own particular mechanisms or changes in lifestyle, etc., which I feel for a lot of people are going to crack, because I don't think they're going to work for some people. For some people, it'll work. A lot of people went into meditation. A lot of people changed, their relations and everything. Great, but still, a lot of the people were not able to grasp why this time came. All right, why this time came where even though on the outside there was so much shown to us, we were made to believe so much, and everything was shut down. The focus of a lot of people still remained outside, on the news, on what's the next update, etc., which is the set of people who kind of missed out on what they could have gained through this particular experience. And a lot of the people got even more deeper into the survival mode. And what do I mean when I say survival mode? I mean that in order to save themselves from that time, or in order to escape that particular time, in order to get through it, everybody had to do something about it. People picked up hobbies, people picked up meditation, people, and all of this was a thing to do. All right. In order to deal with nothingness or quietness, everybody picked up a thing to do, because our thoughts, our emotions, if they're running and if they're out of control, then we want to do something about them. So you have to realize that you can't really do anything about it, because it's just going to grow. Because anything you react to and you do something because of something, you're only feeding it more. All right. So you're, even for example, if it is that you're not feeling fine and you want to go and talk to somebody about it in the name of healing, yes, okay, I'm not saying never do it. If it's really bad, definitely it helps to lighten the heart and everything. But in a lot of ways, healing is revealing. Okay. And none of the ancient gods, for example, ever used to reveal how they had their power or what they did to get it. Okay. So what I'm talking about doing is nothing. And if you think about our own ancients in India, they used to have a practice called Maun. Maun meant silence, Maun meant nothingness. Now, the thing is that a lot of different lifestyle practices have already come around, like meditation as one. But the thing is, because of the environment we live in, everything becomes a market. So even meditation is a market today. All right. Uh, and a lot of the things, such as even no fap, which is about doing nothing when it comes to sex, not acting upon it. Now, that is a practice of Mon only in one particular subset of life. So the way I'm talking about it is so that if you understand the principle, you can use it universally, all right, across different areas of your life. Now, Mon basically dealt with the conservation of willpower, or rather, the impulse of acting upon something. Okay? So, we are all going through situations in life, and the thoughts and the emotions are there. And I said a lot of us are even more into survival mode, and then we want to do something about it. But in doing something about it, we give away our power because we end up feeding it. Like we think it's something to solve, we think it's something to do something about, all right? Whereas if you think about it, mostly there's nothing to do in life, all right? A lot of the stuff which we are going through is just made up, all right? And in order to escape the problems of that made up stuff, we make up more stuff to do, okay? So it's a cycle, and if you can just see through it, you'll stop getting trapped by it. So to act upon any thought, desire, intention, whatever came through, we end up losing our power because we are always then expending energy for it. And Mon had to do with conservation of energy. So that when you finally decide to exercise your will, you bolt through it like a bolt of lightning and you actually get that thing done. But nowadays, people are living, those holistic, balanced lifestyles in the name of self care that I should exercise also, I should meditate also, I should work also, I should spend this. All that is great. And if it's working for you, great. But there will come a time when again you'll, fall. Either you won't be able to keep up with everything, or your concentration won't be there, or your awareness won't be there. So if you end up practicing Mon, which, for example, if I just use the example of our thoughts and our emotions, which is a cycle which continuously keeps going on, but we end up trying to do something about it. Not feeling well, okay, let me meet some friends for something, all right? Or my mind is continuously chattering, so let me pick up a meditation practice, okay? Again, you're doing something about it, which is actually just either delaying it, to a later part in life, and again it's going to erupt and come back at you, or you're just feeding it, because it's something which has come to trouble you, and now you're doing something about it, so you're reacting and giving back energy to it and amplifying it further. So, in terms of when thoughts and emotions are taking over, what you might want to try to do is nothing about it, all right? And if you do nothing about it, you'll realize that this shit is just going to keep going on and on and on, and it's just going to pass through, all right? Because that's how fickle we are as human creatures at a very low consciousness level. Obviously, as you start awakening inside and going deeper within your own self, you start realizing the value of energy, and you start realizing that, okay, I don't need to react to everything that is happening. Because when you get into the observation mode, if you're observing, you're absorbing, all right? So you're basically increasing your power even more by just observing, okay, the thoughts and the emotions are going on, or okay, something went bad with a human being, but now I need to go and do something about it. No, you don't need to, because that's an impulse, and that's normally coming from a fight or flight mechanism and survival, all right? Even if you want to do something about it, take a pause first. Take a pause. Just let yourself observe whatever you're going through in terms of thoughts and emotions and everything, because then you'll realize that a lot of it was the previews before the actual movie starts, before you can actually see through to what you're supposed to see, all right, with clarity. So if you end up absorbing, you end up actually growing rather than reacting and doing something about it. You actually end up growing, so that even when you do something, less is more will work. And that is a great thing to achieve in our lives. Imagine if you could do lesser and earn more money. Imagine if you could do lesser and have better relationships. Imagine if you could do lesser and be healthier. All right. And a lot of people practice this, in different ways. People either do lesser of whatever they're addicted to. People either do lesser of food and everything. But if you understand the principle, you can apply it in whichever way you're being affected, and you can catch yourself in the trap. So don't give it away, your willpower to act upon. It's yours. Even the stuff that's happening inside your head, it's yours. It's your story. All right. Healing is revealing. Remember that. So the ancients never used to use their powers, in a discarded fashion. As I said, to fly from Mumbai to Pune, they used to use it very, very sparingly, and that's why when you'll finally act, you'll act in a very conscious manner, and you'll be able to do it with more involvement compared to if you end up acting upon everything that's happening in your life because you want to be a well balanced individual who's able to handle more of life and everything. Try this for a while, I'm not saying this is the only approach, but it's one approach that could work really well. And you can balance it out between different approaches. If there are times when you're incredibly down and you need to talk, do it. All right, do it if it makes you get through it. All right, but a lot of times you don't need to do something about something. So mourn is a principle which hopefully, if you apply in your life, let me know how it goes. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Just wanted to share this quick bit. Cheers.